Are you training hard, eating healthy, and following your routine to the letter, and still not achieving the muscle you're looking for? Maybe the problem isn't what you're not doing, but what you're doing without realizing it. There are details in your diet that not only slow your progress, but could brutally sabotage all your effort. Stay, because in this video, you'll discover the dietary secret of Lee Priest.
Lee Priest. Lee is, of course, one of, if not the most decorated professional bodybuilder to hail from Australia.
The living legend of bodybuilding. You won't believe that what he eats is within reach of your own kitchen. Lee Priest is not just any name in the world of bodybuilding. He is a true legend, a monster who has left an indelible mark on this discipline. With more than 3 decades competing at the highest level, Priest earned respect not only for his brutal size and definition, but for his iron mentality and an uncommonly hardcore approach. Did you know that Lee started lifting weights when he was just 12 years old? And since then, his life has revolved around building a physique that many consider almost inhuman. But what truly sets him apart isn't just his muscles, it's his brutal, unfiltered approach to eating. No clean diets or sophisticated feeding strategies, it was a direct and brutal approach. Eating large quantities, without fear of food, to fuel a body that seemed to defy natural limits. His relevance in sports nutrition lies in the fact that he broke myths and stood as a compelling example that sometimes to gain muscle mass, you have to go beyond conventional standards. While many bodybuilders obsess over counting every calorie or macro, Priest focused on visible results in the mirror, and those results were impressive, to say the least. Imagine a man who could consume industrial quantities of food and still maintain maximum definition for competitions. His routines and his eating were as intimidating as his muscles. In this video, we will explore his diet in detail and how you, with discipline and by adapting some principles, can apply his method to start transforming your own body. Breakfast. Breakfast for Lee Priest was no ordinary meal. It was a true show of force to kick off the day with everything he had. He wasn't interested in following strict clean eating rules or sophisticated diets. His motto was simple: eat a lot from early on. No excuses. Imagine a huge portion of oatmeal, loaded with complex carbohydrates. That solid base that gave him sustained energy to train and build muscle. But Priest didn't stop there. He added whole eggs to the mix, for a solid dose of protein and healthy fats. Many might think that would be enough, but Lee went further. It wasn't uncommon for him to eat a slice of cold pizza from the day before, or some junk food right in the morning, because he understood that his priority was feeding his muscles, not chasing perfection. For him, the key was caloric volume, and not worrying too much about eating clean. That defiant mindset is what set Priest apart from the rest. Did you know that in this breakfast alone, he could easily be taking in more than 700 calories in that first meal? Between the carbohydrates from the oatmeal and the fats and proteins from the eggs, his body received a combo that fired up the metabolism and prepared his physique for what the day had in store. This approach is so extreme it challenges many of today's athletes. Can you imagine starting your days with that much food? But there lies the secret. Food is not the enemy. It's your greatest ally if you know how to use it to build muscle. And you? Would you be capable of giving your body such a caloric punch in the morning? Take a few seconds to think about it, because these decisions make the difference between an average physique and one that breaks the mold. Mid-morning. After that brutal breakfast, Lee Priest didn't overcomplicate things at his mid-morning meal. The key here was to keep the machine running without losing momentum. Nothing excessive, but just enough energy and protein to keep building muscle. His typical plate consisted of lean chicken, that high-quality protein that is fundamental for repairing and growing muscle fibers. He paired it with white rice, a fast and efficient source of carbohydrates to recharge energy. This combination is not only classic, but has proven to be a winning formula for delivering essential nutrients at the midpoint of the day. Priest could also include a fast protein, like a shake, to ensure his muscles never ran out of the necessary fuel. The idea wasn't to complicate things, but to be consistent and efficient. Imagine a well-served plate with generous portions of chicken breast and rice, enough to keep the muscle fed without loading up on unnecessary fat. That simplicity was part of his success, maintaining balance without going crazy over meals. What's interesting is that although these meals seem basic, combined with the total daily volume Lee consumed, they created an unstoppable anabolic environment. He wasn't looking to be gourmet, just effective and brutal in his intake to maximize results. Have you ever wondered if simple food can be part of a winning diet? Well, in Lee's case, the answer is a resounding yes. Purity, quality, and quantity are an unbeatable triad. Ready for the next stretch? Because here comes the heavy meal that many fear: lunch. What did Lee eat to maintain that enviable volume and definition? Lunch. If you thought Lee Priest's diet was just simple food, get ready to be surprised. Lunch was his moment to unleash all his force and give his body the densest and most powerful fuel possible. This meal often defined the success or stagnation in his journey toward a monstrous physique. At the center of the plate, red meat dominated. That powerful source of protein, iron, and fats that many bodybuilders avoid, but that Lee embraced wholeheartedly. Thick, juicy steaks full of flavor that also provided the essential amino acids needed to repair and build muscle. But protein wasn't the only thing that mattered. To accompany it, potatoes, whether baked, boiled, or mashed, and white rice. Two high-calorie density carbohydrates ideal for replenishing energy reserves and activating the metabolism for muscle growth. Together, they formed a perfect anabolic bomb. The curious thing is that Priest didn't count calories. His measurement was clear and visual: the mirror. He didn't obsess over numbers or complicated calculations. He measured success each day by observing how his physique exploded in size and definition. This mindset, free from obsession, was key to avoiding both mental and physical stagnation. Imagine a plate that could easily surpass 1,000 calories, with a balanced mix of proteins, fats, and carbohydrates to fuel a body under constant demand. This meal was not for the faint of stomach, or for those who fear gaining a bit of fat. It was for those who are chasing legendary status. Furthermore, this meal served as a psychological break. It was a moment to delight in intense flavors and textures that gave energy not only to the body, but also to the mind. That controlled enjoyment is part of Priest's secret, turning eating into a weapon and a pleasure simultaneously. Want to know what came after this brutal meal? A monster shake that loaded his energy for training with all the intensity his body and mind required. Keep watching, because in the next section you'll discover that secret that many underestimate, and that makes all the difference in their training sessions: pre-workout. After such a substantial lunch, Lee Priest knew that the key to giving everything in the gym lay in a pre-workout meal that would provide immediate and sustained energy throughout his brutal routine. This is where his famous monster shake comes in, a powerful blend designed to fuel both body and mind. This shake was made with whole milk, a delicious and calorie-dense source of fats and protein. To that super dairy base, he added bananas, which provide fast carbohydrates in the form of natural sugars and potassium, essential for muscle function and preventing cramps during training. Of course, protein powder was a must, fundamental for delivering the amino acids the body needs to maintain muscle growth while burning fat in the gym. And to add an extra boost of energy and healthy fats, he included peanut butter, a concentrated source of calories that also helps with satiety and hormonal health. This shake wasn't just a caloric bomb. It strategically combined macronutrients, proteins, carbohydrates, and fats in a perfect balance to maintain intensity during training. This energy cocktail allowed Lee to train with the strength and concentration needed to lift enormous loads and stimulate growth. The message here is clear. Pre-workout isn't just about consuming something quick or light, it's about preparing the body for the battle ahead. And while many today opt for ultra-processed supplements and stimulants, Priest bet on real food, dense, impactful, and proven through years of experience. Have you ever asked yourself how much your meals before training influence your performance and results? Well, Lee had it figured out. Without that monster shake, his physique would not have been the same. And you shouldn't underestimate this crucial stage either. Want to discover what came after training and how he closed out the day with energy to keep growing? Dinner. After an intense session in the gym, Lee Priest knew that dinner was key to continuing to fuel his muscles and ensuring that growth never stopped. This last main meal of the day had to be abundant and loaded with nutrients that would support recovery and protein synthesis overnight. His dinner was composed mainly of pasta, a rich source of complex carbohydrates that provided long-lasting energy and facilitated the replenishment of muscle glycogen. He paired the pasta with meat, generally lean, to ensure adequate intake of essential proteins. He also added bread, another caloric source that closed the day with enough volume to maintain his energy and mass. This approach was not for those who fear gaining a little fat, but for those who understand that a positive caloric balance is necessary to build muscle seriously. Lee ate to grow, not to maintain, and that was reflected in the abundance and quality of his dinner. What's interesting is that this meal also served a psychological function, the pleasure of an abundant plate after a brutal day, which not only fed the body, but also the mind. That controlled enjoyment was a fundamental part of his discipline. It wasn't just about sacrifice, but about loving the process and knowing that every bite brought him closer to his goal. Imagine a plate full of al dente pasta, juicy meat, and a few slices of fresh bread, all in generous quantities to support recovery and growth. That was Priest's formula for ending the day with strength and keeping his physique in constant evolution. And what did he do after? The last meal before sleep, to keep nourishing his muscles through the night. Before bed. After a complete and brutal day of training and eating, Lee Priest closed out his day with one final strategic meal. This was no ordinary late-night snack. It was a conscious way of feeding his muscles during rest, a key moment for repair and growth. Generally, this pre-sleep meal consisted of casein, a slow-digesting protein that gradually releases amino acids over several hours. This allowed him to avoid muscle catabolism while he slept, ensuring a constant flow of nutrients to his tissues. But Priest could also opt for a full meal, even if he wasn't hungry. His mindset was clear. Eat to grow, even if you don't feel hungry. This reflected his disciplined and obsessive approach to maximizing every opportunity to nourish his body. This last meal could include a balanced mix of proteins, carbohydrates, and healthy fats, always seeking to keep anabolism active and avoid losing the valuable mass gained throughout the day. Many bodybuilders lose muscle during sleeping hours because they don't give the necessary importance to this meal. But Lee Priest, with his winning mentality, knew that the real work isn't only done lifting weights, it's also done with proper nutrition right to the end of the day. Are you making use of that last meal to grow, or are you letting it slip by? Recovering and growing is a 24-hour commitment, and behind this dedication lies the secret of legends. Lee Priest's diet is not for everyone. That much is clear. It's not a comfortable or easy path, but it is tremendously effective for those with the discipline to follow it. Beyond the brutal quantities, there are several lessons we can learn and intelligently adapt to our own routine. First, eating in volume is not for the weak. Lee devoured large amounts of food, and that required a solid mindset. It's not just about training hard, it's about fueling the body with enough energy and nutrients so that it can truly grow. So if you're stuck at a plateau, you may simply not be eating enough, and that is holding back your progress. Second, obsession with eating clean can be counterproductive if you sacrifice volume. Lee was no purist. Sometimes he ate cold pizza or foods that many would consider junk. However, he knew how to balance when and how to do it. The idea isn't to deprive yourself, but to ensure that your total daily calories cover your growth needs. Third, his approach was more psychological than scientific. Priest didn't count calories or macros with a calculator. He measured his success with the mirror, with how he felt and how his body responded. That mindset of listening to your own progress and adapting along the way is a powerful tool that few bodybuilders apply today. Here are some practical tips for applying his method in a realistic way. Don't be afraid to progressively increase the amount of food you eat. Increase in stages to avoid discomfort and let your body adjust. Prioritize quality foods, but don't obsess over absolute cleanliness. Consistency and volume come first. Use visual images and measurements to track your progress beyond cold numbers. Trust your own reflection and sensations. Combine this eating approach with an intense and well-structured training plan to maximize results. Finally, cultivate a winning and disciplined mindset, because food is just as important as the hours you spend lifting weights. Not everyone is ready for this hardcore approach, but for those who are, the results can be impressive and transformative. The key lies in consistency, patience, and adjusting the method to your own capabilities and goals. Did you know that most bodybuilders make terrible mistakes right before training without even realizing it? In my next video, I'll reveal the secrets that could be sabotaging all your progress. Don't miss it, because what you'll discover will forever change the way you train.